Hey, Brewster and Coco, what are we doing today? Streamliner!
Again, we've got a pairing here of friends. I was almost going to say, well, it's not a boy and a girl, although some people are going to argue that, aren't they? Well, hi there, we're going to take a look at something, well, that I didn't know about until I saw it on another YouTuber's channel. They're called Hallmark Keepsakes. I just grabbed a couple from a store I don't like to go into, and we'll have a look at these in this video. These lovely ornaments deserve a nice, sedate and careful review, so sadly the rubber chicken, guess what? You're fired! I don't want to hear another word from you! The real problem with rubber chickens is they're highly destructive. They can come along and break things inside the box. Now, which one of these will I take a look at first? I'm thinking about It Ralph and Vanellope. Okie dokie, you can see how much I paid for this. It's got a bit of a plastic blah blah here. It's from It Ralph 2, or It Ralph breaks the internet, or whatever he does. And we're just going to get this out of box. I hope it's in there. I'm so fearful that someone's stolen stuff in store. It's wrapped up in tissue paper. Rather nice. In fact, a lot of tissue paper. Well, I can wrap my Christmas presents up in that now. Somewhere in here is It Ralph and Vanellope. Oh, yes. Wow, it actually looks very nice. What caught me by surprise is it's actually bigger than the box artwork there. Let's take a closer look at Ralph. This is a very, very classy paint job on this. It is not going to disappoint if you're a fan of It Ralph, I can tell you. And I've got a few It Ralph toys. Taking a look at the back here. Well, to me, it's got all the very important details about It Ralph. Wow. I think Maui, to me, Maui from Moana, was very much like It Ralph. Now, you might want to agree or disagree with me there, but when I saw Maui, I thought straight away of this character here. Just looking up nice and close there, Vanellope is beautifully painted up. Curiously, It Ralph has got a grinning face there. Often the toys of It Ralph were depicting him to be cranky It Ralph. The stitching and everything there in his clothes, you know, the colour is correct as well. It just looks fantastic. In every way I look at this, I can't fault it. Really, really nice. It's got the thing there, you could tie something on there to hang it from your Christmas tree, but to me, this is way too nice to be hanging from a Christmas tree. As for its size, and it is hard to tell on YouTube, it's a little bit more than 4 inches, and in metric, well, that's a little bit more than, let's say, 10 centimetres. And maybe another reference point is if you know the little figures from the first film, it's a little bit bigger than that figure there. But I tell you what, I think it looks way more epic. They were the guys that I used on Mr. Hammer, and I need to repair Mr. Hammer, or maybe Mr. Hammer's got to be banned because YouTube's gone all soft. That was the larger figure there. That was a very impressive toy, and it had an action like that. Maybe he's gone and conformed to be all nice now, It Ralph, in that second film. We really yet to find out, but yeah, if you're a It Ralph fan, that there is not going to disappoint in any way, shape or form. Before I dump It Ralph, these larger figures were sort of cool. What I noticed was that these didn't sell that well. I saw a lot of these in the specials bin. There was all sorts of articulation on this. This one hasn't been played with much, so it's a little bit stiff. Also, his little feet moved. Head sort of moved, but if you got the arms in the right direction there, and you had the lever at the back, I've got to get this in the right spot, and there was a little wall that came with this toy as well. I think it's going to work there, okay, and I can come along and go, I'm It Ralph and nobody likes me, and that's how it sort of played out. But I always found it curious that the It Ralphs didn't seem to sell that well. Personally, I really love that movie, especially the beginning part in the arcade of It Ralph, the first movie. And to give you an illustration of, well, what was happening with them, these ones here that were still in box, I picked them up rather cheap. That was a clearance price. I went down from basically a $20 toy down to, well, basically $15, and I got half that price again. It was like the complete dump of this. I never saw this toy. The Fix-It Felix seemed to sell. Yet the It Ralphs seem to be shelf and peg sitters. So paying $7 for this quite some years back when these were on the clearance shelves, I had no qualm of that great toy, and I grabbed quite a few of them. But I've got no qualm in paying $20 for this beautiful Hallmark Keepsake. I just noticed on the back of the box here, it talks about, I believe this is the person who was behind designing this ornament. Fantastic job. Go and buy one of these and read it for you. I haven't got time to read it today. We'll move on to Lightning McQueen and Cruz Ramirez from Cars 3. Yes, I think a few people grind with Cruz, but we'll try and stay happy in this little Hallmark review, won't we? Okay, well, it's packed a bit differently because I've got a plastic blah blah here. There are the cars underneath the tissue wrapping. Oh yes. Yes, yes, yes. A bit of a hook there hanging on the tree. Let's take a look at this one. Just like with Wreck-It Ralph, the box artwork there is smaller than what comes out of the box. That's really nice to see. Just putting a ruler over this, the car length of McQueen, it's just shy of 3 inches. I don't know how to say it when it's that length because I don't know my imperial, but in metric, oh, you're looking at about 75 millimeters. Just taking a nice close look here. Notice that McQueen is turning into Ramirez, almost like get off my race track. He's got a very, very cheeky face on here. It's quite a McQueen of attitude. I think anyone who's a McQueen fan is going to like this. Cruz is, well, just in a sense the lesser character in this, because when you look at this, which one does your eye go towards? It certainly, well, for me, it goes towards McQueen. In a funny way, I'm sort of thinking, how can I pull this apart and just separate that McQueen away and, well, just, or maybe add another character in here without getting too narky. Nevertheless, I suppose it's all about friendship. That's what that combination is about. But then again, McQueen's got other friends. Just looking at the back here, detailed in every direction. That is very, very nice. Very nice indeed. And just thinking of what toy is similar to that there, I've got a Cars 3 McQueen here, and what I've found is that's actually a little bit longer. But if you've been watching the videos that get demonetized in my channel, when I spoke about this toy here, and this is the Mattel version of McQueen, the die-cast classic car in a sense, for some reason it had been redesigned and taken away from its earlier version, which I think most people really, really liked. It was wider. To me, it looked much more like McQueen, the way McQueen should look. But for some reason, they slimmed down this McQueen here and made it lighter. I think it was a cost-cutting measure. I really think that was going on. It does fit on Hot Wheels track now, whereas this earlier McQueen didn't. That was the advantage to that. But the McQueen that is most similar to that ornament is actually a very, very inexpensive one. It's actually a little bit shorter than the die cast there. This is a $2 McQueen that was, basically, I call it checkout McQueens because I would need checkouts in stores. And if I line this up here, like that with my finger along the back there, you can sort of see that we're dealing with something which is very, very similar. One of them looks far more awesome. One of them was way more cheaper as well. Okay? The $2 McQueen versus the $20 pair up there. Sure, you could go and hang that on your Christmas tree and be very happy, but I tell you what, your Christmas tree is going to look far more awesome with that pair there. Just looking closely here at McQueen here, it doesn't disappoint in any way. Cars fans are lucky because so often the toys and ornaments and things are done really nicely. Even on the cheaper scale, they get the colour and the shape correctly, unlike cough cough Thomas and Friends toys. I think, like I said before, the nicest aspect to this is the attitude of McQueen here. I think that's really important. When people look at these toys, they're looking at this. What expression, what's its feeling at the moment? And then when I look at this as a pair, maybe I'm starting to think that's the attitude of McQueen in Cars 3. And that's very much what Cruz was like, the calming factor. We'll get things right. We'll work as a team together and, we can win. And, well, without giving the story away, that's what happened. Now, what's curious here with those two that I've showed you, it's about partnerships, male and female partnerships working together to resolve an issue. Well, the next one is nothing like that. Let's take a look at this train. Well, the next one is something to do with Lionel trains. It's a 2245P Texas Special Locomotive. I'm just having trouble getting rid of this plastic thing. I might have to come along and just do a very quick little there and get rid of it. And even then it wants to fight with me. Ugh. On the back of the box of this one, there's no artist's name or anything, but it talks about keepsakes and how the little pieces of art. Maybe you want to pause the video and read that because my throat can't cope with reading today. I just noticed here it says die-cast metal, and of course it says made in China. Well, what isn't made in China these days? I think that's got to stop. I think the world is slowly waking up to the big trap we're falling into. Ooh, pulling this out. It's all wrapped up in lots of tissue paper from China, of course, because that's where this came from. Give me a second to get this out. Whoa! Oh, oh yeah! Oh yeah! This is spanking nice, and it's quite heavy because it's metal. Wow! First time I played with one of these, I didn't know about these. It's all really Trainz Extreme. He caught me onto these because he looked at the Thomas ones. The wheels move. I don't know what it's feeling like. N scale. I mean, I don't know anything at the moment. It is really, really nice. It's just got a great hand feel to it. It's got a bit of a... There must be other things to go on this. I know nothing about this. I don't know what to say. Apart from the fact, crikeys, go out and get them. Buy them. It's fantastic. Just coming in and looking at this, it is just beautiful. Something about when you have a metal toy in your hand, just the way it makes it feel wonderful. Just beautiful. For some reason, it's reminding me of Wilson from Chuggington. Maybe it's the colour and the shape, isn't it, eh? Just very, very nice. And I know nothing about these. I'm wondering whether this is the first one or there's been many of them. The bogies on this are plastic. And I'll tell you what, I can tell if it's end gauge, if it's 9mm in there. Crikeys, it must be. Let me get a bit of track and see if it fits on. I've got some end gauge track here. I'm just going to get this wonderful ornament. It's a beautiful little toy train. It's too good for the Christmas tree. Yes, yes, yes. Look at that. I like it a lot, yeah. I'll tell you what, these Hallmark Keepsakes, nothing has disappointed yet. It is just spiffo. A beautiful, beautiful train. Fits on N-scale track, and it does remind me of Wilson from Chuggington. Like, hey, Brewster and Coco, what are we doing today? Yes, the other thing it reminds me of is, remember that film? Unstoppable! Ah! That'll annoy everyone, won't it? But my son loved that film. He was making little recreations of things that went on in that film, and it goes onto that track really, really nicely. So yes, very impressive, extremely impressive, and whoop-de-doo impressive. I've got a bit of a Lionel story. I contacted them a couple of years back asking for some trains, and they, well, let's just say they told me to buzz off, but hey, let's keep this review nice and happy. Oh, I forgot to put the ruler over that. There it is there in Imperial. You can see the ruler there. Rather nice. And in metric, there it is there. So from going from one awesome train on to our next awesome trains, yes, Thomas and Percy. Actually, before we look at that, let me just go and look at what my son's doing. Okay, you see that there? That's how we play with our trains. So if you're ever wondering which one's got the better traction, there's actually something else we worked out, which is awesome, really, really awesome, is you put those trains onto that 6-in-1 Percy set. Well, you can do it like that if you want, but I think it's best if we uncouple them and just get them running around like mad, hey? This will derail the video, but I want you to watch this very carefully. Whoa, oh, Christ. The Streamliner. That's a Tommy toy on a Trackmaster 2 track. That's the Turbo Thomas. Oh, crikeys, that was so close. This is the absolute best fault. There's been an accident over there. And the Tommy Streamliner Thomas is going under there. We've got a correction at the back there. Okay, look, one should be able to catch up with another one, in theory. Now, which one do you think's going faster? Oh, crikeys. When you get speeds like this on a railway, it really, really makes up. Oh, another crash. What is going on? Another one. What's going on with those points over there? Really, really crazy stuff.
It happens a lot.
But that's got a bit of blue tack under the tabs underneath that train to make it. Oh, Streamliner's actually stuck there. Where's? Oh, okay, we've lost his explosives wagon. It's alright, we can get it. Oh, whoa, very. Oh, watch out! Watch out! Oh, crikeys! Yeah, the Percy 6-in-1 set. One of the best sets ever. For the fact that it really does. We'll have some fantastic play. Oh, yes, yes, that's what we want to say. Oh, it's still crashing. But we'll take a look at this properly in another video, and we will be building layout number 6. Is the one everyone seems to want. Woo! Okay, you can continue on playing, but I've got to go and finish off the review about the Hallmark figurines. I know we can't keep our eyes off the trains, can we? I certainly can't. It's great, great fun. Streamliner's crashed. And you know what's going to happen next? Bow! I think that was fun to see, but let me now get into this wondrous Thomas and Percy Keepsake. I only know about the Hallmark Keepsakes because of this YouTuber here called XtremeTrainz. He did a review of the Thomas and Percy, and I looked at that there and I was so impressed I went out and bought some of my own, and of course I made this video. So please take a look at what XtremeTrainz says about the Hallmark Keepsakes, but also take a look at this review here of the Thomas Minis Target Blast Stunt Set review. Very, very strange toy. Maybe a logical way for you to find this is if I put this up on my community tab on my channel. So finally, after being a bit derailed, there's $25 for this Hallmark Keepsake Thomas and Friends beautiful thing here. On the back here, a little bit about the person who designed this. I think, well, I've seen XtremeTrainz, what he'd said about this. I think they did a very, very nice job with this. Now, there's a peculiar thing that goes on that if I'm making this review now, and my biggest fear is I'm just going to start to parrot what XtremeTrainz has said. Now, what I do as a reviewer on YouTube, this is my rule, I never look at other people's reviews before making a review, because what happens is no matter what you think you're going to be original, you'll just end up parroting what other people have said. Believe me. Okay, I've been doing YouTube long enough to understand that sort of the thing that goes on in your brain. Okay, here it comes. Ooh, yes. I'm just trying not to say what XtremeTrainz said, okay? Ooh, yeah. I know he was very impressed with this, and I'll tell you what I see coming out of here looks absolutely frippin' spiffo. Well, we're looking at the faces here, and look, I can't fault the faces there. They look fantastic. Just like the Cruz and McQueen combination, there's something that's in me wanting to pull this apart and separate Percy away from Thomas. Just looking at the Thomas here, just absolutely spiffoing detailing. It's just, oh, crikey, Charles, you don't see this good too often. We're getting some nice, wheel details there. The running board is done. I can see up there the whistles are there, and they are a separate piece in a sense. There they are there, okay. Lamp on the front here, your hose connected there, your buffer detailing, your coupler is there. I mean, it's just got everything that you desire in a Thomas. A lamp on the back here. And Percy's the same. It's all done correctly. So whoever's come along and modelled this has totally done their homework, and it's just so sad that people who've done their homework on these toys and model them, rarely do you see it this nicely. Just looking closer here, you can see the steps there going into Percy's cab. The connecting rod and the piston detail is correct. The little box there is detailed as well. Percy's whistle is there and detailed. It is just cranking in the right things you need to see in these toys to make you excited if you like Thomas and if you like Percy. Looking here, I never realised that Percy's driver's cabin coal bunker is actually larger than Thomas's. That's going to get people in a bit of a huff, isn't it? Beautiful on the back here. There is licensing details underneath here. If I move it around, maybe you'll see it. It's very hard to see black on black there. But crikey's about the only thing that grinds on me with this is the fact we've got the banner there creating like the Siamese twins we can't separate. Yes, I'd just love to get rid of that banner and just have a separate Thomas and Percy. As for the length of this ornament, there we go there. It's just over 3 inches. I can't say what that would be if you were saying it in imperial. And in metric, there we go there. It's basically 80 millimeters. And just on the width of this ornament, it's basically 2.5 inches there. And in metric, there we go there. Oh, it's about 63 millimeters. That's the hanging point there, and as XtremeTrainz said, there's nothing that comes with these to hang them with. You put your own hanging whatever on there. To me, this is too nice to be on the Christmas tree. I've never put nice things like this on our Christmas tree. We've always had like the danky, cheap decorations and personal things that the children have made at school or whatnot. But to me, this is a Thomas and Percy that you go and put on your shelf where you show your nicest things that you've got around. Or if you've got a nice room in your house, that's the sort of thing that's in the glass cabinet showing the nice things. That's the way I see that. So just like It Ralph Vanellope and Cruz Ramirez and Lightning McQueen, we are seeing a pair here of friends. This time they're both male. Let's hope they're both male. It's taken me a couple of takes to get this without breaking up, okay? I know the audience is going to go crazy on this one. They are both male characters for this video, okay? I've got a massive Thomas the Tank collection, okay? And I was curious as to which Thomas was most similar to the one in this keepsake, okay? There's a Thomas Mini there. Obviously, it's way, way smaller, so we can discount that one. Here is, dun dun dun, I love bringing this one out, the paper-faced Erdl. Much loved Thomas, but we love Thomas Love on toys. It is a very similar length, okay? But it's different in width. Its height is sort of similar as well, okay? But I would discount that as being, well, a beautiful bygone era toy. Then, because I've got this massive collection, I've found a Thomas toy here which is basically near identical in many dimensions. It came with this troublesome truck I think it came from the charity shop. I'll just lose the truck here for a moment. It's a 2004 licensed toy. I don't know whether you'll see it flashing there. In fact, I don't really know if we ever established where or what it came from. But in dimensions, I'll tell you what, it's a very, very, very close Thomas to the one which is the ornament, the keepsake. I'm just going to go there and there. Okay, you can see the width as well. The height is basically near the same. In fact, there are so many things that are very similar. Maybe the face is different, obviously the wheels are a bit different. But as for dimension, crikey Charlie, it's almost like someone's grabbed that. And so let's spiffo this up and make that there. To buy these keepsakes, I had to go into a store which I sort of struggle with because I've had trouble there in the past getting stuff out legally. The stand where these were being sold was right in the middle of the store, away from the checkouts. It was in a very peculiar spot, and I've got pictures here of it, and also some of the other wondrous things that were on offer. It was, well, quite remarkable what I found there, and the things that I liked are the things that you saw in this review. There were many other things there that would very much impress you. On the stand was also this book that was a bit of an eye-opener for me because I've never been into this stuff before. Maybe it's going to be a new thing I collect. And there's all sorts of things here. And I notice here, it says here, the train is the 23rd of the Lionel Train series. So, crikeys, I've really been missing out. Nobody's ever told me about this stuff. It was only through XtremeTrainz and the Thomas & Friends toy that I started to see this wonderment that was, you know, up for grabs. But then again, like I said earlier, I don't put spanky stuff in our Christmas tree. But, oh, look at that there, Steamboat Willie. Mickey Mouse thing. Oh, look at that, Walt and Mickey. So it's a lot of them is about partnerships. I definitely saw that one in store. Wow, it is just amazing. Okay, just amazing. There's Wreck-It Ralph and blah blah. There we are. There's Moana there, Maui. Fantastic, man. And nice moments of things as well, in a sense. Scooby-Doo, Harry Potter, it's all there. And of course there was like seasonal stuff there as well. Donkey Kong thing there. Look at that there, you know, Jack Skeleton, just great. Sci-fi stuff, it just goes on and on. Hey, it may be very heavily Disney bent. Or was that wrong me saying that? Fantastic, get into it. Well, what I purchased says much about things that I collect and things that I like, doesn't it? I tell you what, if I'm really lucky, Hallmark will send me out some of this boogie so I can have a closer look at this. If you were really into this stuff, I think you need a bit of dough, wouldn't you? My children would love this Wreck-It Ralph. It is fantastic. If you're a Cars fan, that does not disappoint. If you're into model trains and stuff, that doesn't disappoint either. That is just really, really nice. You have to trust me on this. And this Thomas and Percy here is the most cranking Thomas and Percy that I've seen for a very, very long time. I brought these Hallmark Keepsakes in for my son to look at. Are you very impressed with these?
Yep.
Well, what would you like to say about these that maybe I didn't say?
How come they don't get track and they get like a road? So
well, maybe you should have done the review, yeah?
And what they?
That's actually a very, very good point. Yes, imagine if Thomas and Percy came with a little bit of track under them. Yes, the wrong person has done the review of those little things there. He should have been doing it. Nice work.